Alright, what's good, everybody? I'd like to welcome you all to another episode of the Boombox Guru. I'm your host, LB. So on today's show, I got another album review for you guys. And we're going to take a trip to Atlanta, Georgia. And we're going to take a trip to the trap right quick. You know what I'm saying? So today's album review is on 2 Chainz' 4th album, released back in 2017, called Pretty Girls TRLP Music. Hope you guys can see that cover real good. I know there's a sort of a glare. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Pretty Girls TRLP Music. Like I said, released back in 2017. More specifically, June the 16th, 2017 on Def Jam Recordings. And I believe his own, The Real University. Yeah, The Real University label. And this album had 3 singles. Good Drink, It's a Vibe, 4 a.m. And with this record, man, 2 Chainz, he brought a classic, more authentic sound to trap music, more akin to his edgy street elements and its roots of emerging from the Atlanta trap culture. So this was actually the first 2 Chainz album that I actually bought. And I know 2 Chainz had been doing his thing for years at this point. I knew him as Titty Boy, back during his DTP days with Ludacris and Playa Circle. And I also remember around the late 2000s, he was really crushing it with the mixtape. He had a mixtape series back then called Trappavelli, which that period right there is what really got him to where he is now. He was still going by the name Titty Boy, but I forget which mixtape it was. Maybe some of you that's watching this video can leave a comment, or whenever this video premieres, you can let me know in the chat what mixtape it was when he decided to change his name to 2 Chainz. But yeah, those mixtapes, those series of mixtapes was what really led him to having the successful solo career that he has now. Now, early on, man, I was more of a novice 2 Chainz listener. I mean, he had a song here and there that I enjoy. I would see his videos on YouTube and so forth. I might be hanging out with somebody that was listening to his music. He had songs here and there that I like, man, but I never really paid much attention to his music as far as listening to a whole entire album, because I don't know, it just really didn't do much for me. I kind of felt that what he was doing at that point was pretty typical what a lot of artists were doing at that time. But when this album came out, Pretty Girls TRLP Music, I was hearing some talk about it. I was reading about it, and I was starting to hear people talk about how it was one of his best albums, how it was one of the best trap albums to come out, and how he went back to that raw street side of the music. And once I heard the record, I was like, yeah, this is the real trap music. I mean, when I listened to that album, man, it took me back to 2005, 2006. When that mid 2000s era when trap music was really, on the come up. When Jeezy was dropping and Gucci and all of them, even T.I. and so forth, man. But it really brought back that sound, man. Something that I felt had been missing from trap music for a long time, man, because I would say around 2011, maybe 2012, maybe even early, maybe around 2009 or 2010, trap music had kind of lost its street appeal, because a lot of artists were coming into the genre and they were, bringing their own flavor to it. I would say Future is the one artist that really brought trap to its mainstream ascendance where it is now. When he came out with that Turn Off the Lights, that was huge, and he took a different direction, man. He had a more melodic, more sort of futuristic take on trap music, which a lot of artists started to run with and really kind of oversaturate, if that's the right word to use for it. And Future's influence is still prominent in trap, man, but this album in particular, man, to me it brings you back to reality, and it's a reminder of where trap really comes from. So without further ado, let's get into some key songs on this album that I really enjoy. Like I always say, man, I always try to keep it to a minimum of 4 key songs. And again, this album was a little difficult for me to really limited to 4 songs, man, because there's a lot of bangers on this song. There's a lot of songs on here that could have been talked about. But these are the key ones that I felt that I really needed to discuss. And I felt there would really be a great way to maybe kind of persuade somebody to check this record out. All right, so the first song on here is Riverdale Road. Now, this is the second song that is on the album. And I got to tell you, man, as soon as this song kicks on, man, you already know that this is serious trap music right here, man. It's got this bass heavy menacing beat. Got these like slight eerie keyboards and synths that give a dark vibe to the song. And lyrically it's like you could say it's like a rags to riches story, man, where 2 Chainz talks of his early life in the trap and how he transitioned from that to living the more luxurious, successful life he's living now, man. But I gotta tell you, man, as soon as that song comes on, when that pounding beat, like, it's serious, man. Even in the intro, 2 Chainz is talking. He's telling his engineer to turn the music up, and he said, "Yeah, man, I want to feel dangerous with this track, man. I got my pistol with me right in the booth right now." That's the kind of vibe that this song gives off. It's like, okay, we really in the trap. We really in the trenches with this song right here, man, because it's got that dangerous vibe, man, and everything that 2 Chainz is talking about in the song, man, it's letting you know what the trap really is. That it's no joke. That it's serious business. It's dangerous. Things might get out of hand, man. You might need to have the pistol on you. You know what I'm saying? You never know what's gonna happen, man. Police might run in on you. The Jack Boys might come through. It's serious business, man. So Riverdale Road is a song that really just sets the tone of, like, yeah, we taking it back to that raw, classic sound of trap music. So then, moving on to my next key song, we got Door Swinging, or might be Doors Swinging. Yeah, it's Door Swinging. Sorry about that. But yeah, another song that has a classic trap sound with banging bass. And on this particular song, 2 Chainz, he's reminiscing about his days, selling drugs in the trap houses. And it's sort of a laid back, sort of mellow song. It has this like hypnotic melody in the background, which I really enjoy, because that hypnotic melody, it really helps to provide that imagery and feeling of someone who's traveling down memory lane. And so in a nutshell, like on this particular song, 2 Chainz, he's thinking back to those days of trapping, and he's not actually glorifying those days. He's not glorifying those days as if those were his best days. He's pretty much just reminiscing and reflecting on that time when he had to do that, when he had to sell dope in the trap, and he recognizes that going through that experience is what made him who he is today, man. But definitely one of the biggest highlights on this album, man. It's a song that I particularly enjoy riding to a lot of times, man. It's just got that perfect feel for riding music, man. I just enjoy it. It's one of my favorites on the record. So next song on here is Rolls Royce Bitch. Yeah, that's the title, man. And again, it's got this bumping beat with acoustic guitar that's played throughout the song. And this song actually has a very self-empowering message about believing in yourself, man. As a matter of fact, at the beginning of the song, during the intro, 2 Chainz comes on. He's like, believe in yourself. Who else gonna believe in you? He like repeats that throughout the intro of the song. And it's something that's really repeated throughout the whole entire song. But, at the same time, 2 Chainz, he discusses his own wealth, particularly the Rolls Royce Wraith. Hence the title. That's what this song is based on. It's based on the Rolls Royce Wraith, which is one of the most expensive cars out there. I think I seen where it's the starting price for it is like $462,000, but this was back in 2017, so I don't know, might be a lot more now. But it just has this motivating vibe to it, and definitely gets you pumped up. It makes you want to ball out. I remember when I was doing research on these particular tracks, man, people were leaving comments saying that this particular song just made them want to clear out their savings account and go make a down payment on the Rolls Royce. But it does have that factor to it, man, where it kind of gets you pumped up to want to actually just like just ball out and probably just recklessly spend a whole bunch of money on something really expensive, like a luxury car that you ain't gonna be able to maintain. But all in all, man, this song it's not about balling out, man. It's really about just believing in yourself, man, and just going for it. You know what I'm saying? Because when 2 Chainz is talking about, when he's discussing his own wealth and so forth like that, it's not totally in a boastful manner, but it's just him talking about like him believing in himself is what kind of like him having confidence to like just keep going, and him believing in his dream. That's what got him to where he is now, basically. That's what he's saying in that song. Him believing in himself is what really got him to where he is now, and to be successful and to have his wealth. So it's really cool, man. I really enjoy that aspect of the track, of that particular song, man. And then my last key song on here is OG Kush Diet. This is one of the more darker songs on the album. Dark, eerie, laid back beat. I would say more of a slow, murky bass pounding beat. And this song is actually a tribute to Bankroll Fresh, who was 2 Chainz's closest friend. He had recently passed away around the time that this album had dropped. I'm pretty sure most of y'all know who Bankroll Fresh was, man. He was an Atlanta artist, and he was on the come up, man, around, I don't know when he really popped up. I want to say it was around 2014, 2015, maybe earlier. But he was next. Bankroll Fresh, he was the next one to be up. I think had he been the one, had he lived longer, he was going to be the one to really bring that street aspect back to trap music. Cause I remember when I first got on to Bankroll Fresh, listening to his music, I was like, okay, this don't sound like the trap music that's being played on the radio and on television and in the commercials, man. This sounds like that Jeezy, that early Jeezy, early Gucci Mane era from back when I was in high school. This what this sounds like. And yeah, if Bankroll Fresh, man, if he hadn't got murdered, man, you know, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, you know, what happened to him and the events that led up to that shooting, man. But he was the next to really bring that trap music back to the streets, man. But in a nutshell, man, OG Kush Diet is about, you know, when you go through something like this, like losing your close partner or somebody like that, man, you know, from that type of culture, man, that's what you do to try to, like, kind of, I guess, alleviate the stress and sadness and frustration, man. You smoke out to it. You get you some weed, kush, whatever. You just light up and you try to smoke out to it, man, to try to alleviate those feelings of pain or whatever. And it's also probably what a lot of people within that lifestyle do to try to keep themselves from, like, losing control and doing something crazy on the impulse as well, man. But yeah, 2 Chainz, man, he uses like this like monotone, like somber flow throughout the song that really kind of invokes the sadness that he kind of feels, and you kind of get a little, you get a little bit of a feeling of how he may have been going through. Anytime I listen to this song, I kind of imagine like 2 Chainz might have been in the studio smoking a blunt while he was recording this, and he was kind of like had, you know, Bankroll Fresh's like murder on his mind and how it really affecting him. It was really affecting him, you know what I mean? But, you know, one of the biggest highlights on this song is like around the middle, there's this like bridge where there's this really cool beat change right in the middle. And it goes from that slow, murky, dark trap beat to this like Latin influenced instrumental. At first I thought it was like reggae, but it's actually more of a Latin influenced instrumental, which I thought was really cool. That was really interesting to see that happen and take place in that song. So shout out to 2 Chainz and the producer of that particular song, and everybody that worked on that song, man, because they really did a really great job on that. All right, so in conclusion, I just want to say that with Pretty Girls like trap music, 2 Chainz took trap back to its roots, you know, with the menacing sound that was more catered to the streets. Because like I said earlier, you know, for a minute there, and this is me personally, I kind of felt like trap music had got watered down. You know, you hear trap music everywhere now. It's in commercials. It's just everywhere now, and it kind of lost its essence of where it came from. And you know, at the same time, the album, it does present a positive message of, and this is what I took from it, that, you know, going through the struggles in order to become the person you're supposed to be. Like, you know, a lot of times you got to go through pain and struggle in order to get to where you're supposed to be. You know what I mean? It's not going to be an easy road when you're trying to get to success. And I think that's what this album really signifies, man, because throughout this record, the majority of the songs on this album, 2 Chainz is reflecting on his past. He's not glorifying being a trapper. He's not glorifying that lifestyle. It's more so of him reflecting on where he started from and how he got to where he is now. And essentially, and this is speaking on trap music in a general standpoint, essentially trap music, that's the soundtrack to the dope boy lifestyle or dope girl lifestyle, because, you know, you got dope girls out there too, but it's the soundtrack to that lifestyle. And this album is a reminder of that, of where trap music really originates from. Because like I keep reiterating, man, it, you know, for a few years, you know, it kind of lost it. It kind of lost its essence, in my opinion. It kind of lost that street appeal. But this record was a reminder. You know, while everybody was kind of on the whole kind of futuristic trap or experimental wave or whatever, the more mainstream, accessible aspect of it, this record came in and kind of comes in and brings you back down to reality, and it lets you know, like, yeah, that's cool that everybody else came into this genre and they added their own flavor and they expanded on it and they stretched its boundaries. But hey, let's not forget why this music is the way it is and where it came from. It came from the culture of dope dealing. That's where it came from, man. It comes from that lifestyle. So that's why I really enjoy this album so much, man, because it really brought back my appreciation for that sound, because I grew up on trap music, man. I was there from the beginning when it started, you know, when T.I. burst on the scene and everything, when Jeezy and Gucci came out. I was there for all of that, for those groundbreaking records that really brought that genre and helped define it and take it to the next level. And don't get me wrong, you know, I appreciate all the artists that have come in since then that have added their own flavor to it and have stretched it, have taken it to different levels. I appreciate that. But it's good that an album like this was able to come in like a breath of fresh air for somebody like me who remembers that street edge that it had and just reminds people like, yo, this is where it comes from. And not only that, but it's also, this album could also be seen as sort of like a learning experience for people who didn't grow up with the early stuff like I did. You know, there's a lot of people that wasn't born or who wasn't of age when T.I. first came out or when Jeezy and Gucci were dropping their classic records back then. So this album could be like sort of like a history lesson in itself. Like, yo, this is what the trap really is. So that's why I really enjoy this record so much, man. I honestly think that, I think thus far this is 2 Chainz' best album. I mean, the album he done after this, Rapper Go to the League, it's a close second for being his best record too. But I think Pretty Girls Like Trap Music thus far is his most consistent album. Yeah, it's just his most consistent album all the way through, man. It's even though I only had 4 key songs, I could have talked about so many more songs on here, but they're all just wonderful tracks, man. So I urge anybody that hasn't heard this album, you know, to definitely go and check it out. And you can let my 4 key songs be your gateway into checking out the whole entire album. I guarantee you, check out the whole entire album, because it's really good, man. Anybody who wants to know what real trap music sounds like, definitely go and purchase or stream Pretty Girls Like Trap Music, because if you're not familiar with the early years of it, then this is gonna be a learning experience for you. But shout out to 2 Chainz for dropping such a really great album, man. And yeah, I look forward to whatever he does next. I know he's got a new album out called So Help Me God and so forth. I haven't heard it, but yeah, for right now, man, I think that Pretty Girls Like Trap Music is definitely his best and most complete work as of yet. But yeah, that's it for this review, guys. This album review, guys. Hope you guys enjoy that. Doing a little, trying to mix it up here, do a little different things here and there. If you can all do me a favor, go ahead and hit that thumbs up and like the video. It helps give my video more exposure. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell so you'll be notified when I drop new content. Check out my other videos. I got more album reviews. I got albums ranked. I got tier list. I got some podcast episodes that I was doing around earlier this year and towards the end of last year that I was experimenting with. Just check out the whole entire channel, man. And I want to give a shout out to all the new subscribers that I have. I've been paying attention, and I see that I've got some new subscribers. So my channel is steadily, slowly, but I'm building it up, by being more consistent, man. So I want to give a shout out to all the new subscribers, all the old ones that are still sticking around. I really appreciate it. And I hope everybody has a blessed day, a blessed rest of the week. And as always, love, peace, and music. Peace out.